Hello everybody and welcome to the Daily Review, episode number 244 for Tuesday, November 10th, 2009.
Push my fingers into my eyes.
How's it going, everybody? As you may have guessed or have heard in my last video, I've been sick for the past week or so. I'm almost 100% better, about 90% maybe right now, but I haven't been out to the movies in quite some time. So I'm gonna probably be doing that in the next few days, hopefully reviewing films on a fairly consistent basis, as the title for this show would imply, on a daily basis. So sorry if you guys haven't heard from me in a while. I'm gonna try to stay on track. But the film I'm gonna be reviewing for you guys today is The House of the Devil. The House of the Devil is written and directed by Ty West, or T West. I'm not really sure how it's pronounced. It stars Jocelyn Donahue, Tom Noonan, and Greta Gerwig, who you would probably know from Baghead or Nights and Weekends. Both are mumblecore films I reviewed on this channel, so check those out. The House of the Devil is basically kind of an homage to the 70s, 80s style of horror. It's about this girl who gets hired as a babysitter under very shady circumstances. She goes over to this house that's humongous, nice looking house in the middle of nowhere. The man is an older man played by Tom Noonan, who basically says, "I misled you, there's no baby, you're not babysitting anyone, but what you're doing is you're going to watch after my mother, who is upstairs in her room. You don't need to bother her, just stay in the house for about 4 hours, I will pay you $400, you know, you could stay in this house." And some stuff starts to happen, which I won't really get into, but it has to do with demonic sort of things happen to this girl. The House of the Devil is kind of a mixed bag for me, because there are elements to the film that I really like a lot, and I really appreciate what Ty West is doing with the film. But there are things that contradict that I feel for the film. I guess I'll get into the good stuff. For me, I think right off the bat, the film really feels like that 70s, 80s homage, and it doesn't feel cheap at all. It feels like the director is really knowing what he's doing. The title sequences are, the font sizes or the font colors look very 70s. They kind of freeze frame the people's names every time they show up. And the pacing of the film is very refreshing. It's kind of a slower paced film. It's only an hour and a half, but nothing really starts happening until about the hour and 10-minute mark, hour 15-minute mark. A lot of it is just her walking around the house, not doing much of anything, and I kind of applaud that style and it not being a, you know, by-the-book horror film where it's like you need a scare, you need a scare, you need a scare. It's letting itself build. There's a scene kind of in the middle involving Greta Gerwig when she goes to light her cigarette outside of the cemetery, which had me smiling from ear to ear. It's one of those scenes where I was like, yes, like this film knows what it's doing and knows what it's trying to accomplish. When the big reveal happens, though, at about with about 15 minutes to go, it's nice, and I think a film like this, though, with such a big build-up, it needs a big payoff. And I think there are certain films that are pretty solid examples of that. I reviewed Let the Right One In much earlier in this review, and that film is very slow-paced. However, it's super interesting, but when the payoff happens in Let the Right One In, it is so just awe-inspiring. It's incredible, and I feel like the payoff in this is pretty nice, and it's okay, but I don't think it's anything that's amazing. Another thing that I really don't like about the ending to this film is that I feel like Ty West starts with a very unconventional approach to horror films nowadays by slowly building up this tension, kind of not really showing a lot. But I feel like the last 5 minutes of this movie really sell out, and it really just, it's by the book, and I feel like the last line of the film is so, you would find that type of line in like the Friday the 13th remake or something where you would expect a cheeseball kind of ending. The ending really doesn't work for me, and sad to say, I feel like it kind of ruins what it has going for it. That being said, though, there is a lot of stuff to like about this movie. I was just not a fan of the way it all turned out. So I'm going to have to give The House of the Devil a 2.5 out of 5, very reluctantly. I was really wanting to like this movie. I'm hoping somebody out there can make a better horror film soon. If you guys like this review, head over to nitpicket.com, nitpicket.com. Episode number 41 of the podcast is up. Me and my good friend Leland talk about this film, we review it. We also talk about the Michael Jackson's This Is It and Gentlemen Broncos, as well as the new FX series The League, so check that out. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another one for you.